Bam! We're back. You know
All
what?
right.
I'm gonna restart this interview because I just feel like I want
Yeah.
the audio,
Okay.
but I might use other stuff.
Let's go.
Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Josh.
Y'all. I'm Josiah, but you could also call me Queen of the Ratchet if you want to call me Queen of the Ratchet. And this is one of my first guests actually.
Yes.
That's on the Queen of the Ratchet podcast. One of my talented friends, Charles Guyton.
Hey. Josh Josiah, Queen of the Ratchet. How are you?
I am, really living in my multiverses and like quantum jumping. You ever heard of quantum jumping?
Absolutely.
So I've been kind of going through phases of that.
Wow.
Just kind of going out and in of different realities.
Yeah.
And so thank you for joining me in
Absolutely.
whatever reality this is that we're being a part of right now.
It's a huge honor to be a guest on your platform, for sure.
Thank you. Well, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, hello, world. My name is Charles Guyton. I am a choreographer, dancer, entrepreneur, creative director here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm originally from Chicago. And yeah, that brought me all the way out here, seeing how the water is and, what we can make happen, make some magic.
What made you start dancing?
Wow. Okay. Well, there's a few things. I would say first, it was my sister, my big sister, Latoya. Shout out to Toya. She taught me how to do the chicken head and the heel toe. She gave me rhythm, right? Okay. So that kind of got me started. And then I came across this movie called You Got Served. Right. And
with Marion.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And when I believe when I bought the DVD, the disc, it was a 2-disc set. And the DVD had the movie on one side, and on the other side, it had the tutorial for the dances with Dave Scott teaching the choreography from the movie. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I called myself learning it, on my hallway upstairs in little old Bellwood. And I was like, wow, okay. Doing the steps, and one thing just led to another. Did a few dance contests at school, and I met this extraordinary woman named Vegeta, and she introduced me to the world of dance and choreography, and how far things can go, and how much time you put into it, you'll get back in return as a reward, and it's been a rewarding experience for sure.
What would you think is your favorite? Because I know you do different styles of dance.
Oh, yeah.
What is your favorite style, where you feel like you could just let go and not think?
Definitely contemporary.
Oh,
yeah. That's my favorite. Just to be in a room, a soft, clean, safe space room with, it's just a very freeing experience. You start improvising and moving around and dancing with other people. It's a very spiritual experience. Dance therapy, contemporary is my favorite for sure.
Do you think that keeps you going when it comes to art? Like with me, right? There is this idea that the artist is not seen to have a career like a doctor. Right. Or a lawyer or one of those type of things. But what we do is really needed, especially in this life.
Yeah.
Is that what kind of thrives you, or what really thrives you to keep going in this very challenging career? Because it's not necessarily rewarding all the time.
Right.
Sometimes you're doing a lot of things for free or underpaid.
Right.
I think we both had opportunities or shared opportunities where it's like,
yes.
Oh, I'm here and I don't have enough to feed myself or enough for rent.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely starved myself 1,000 times for dance. Just the ambition and the hustle of, I got to take this class, or I got to go train here, or I got to buy this ticket so I can go to this audition across the freaking country. Definitely a lot of sacrifices. But yeah, what keeps me going is honestly my students. When I'm actually teaching is probably my favorite realm of the dance world. It's very, very rewarding to, especially when I'm teaching my kids, just to see them soak up everything that I'm giving them and just pouring into them, and they just receive it and they soak it up and they give it back, and it's a reciprocating reward for sure.
So the student has become the master, and now the master is now teaching the students.
Yeah.
Do you believe in magic?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Of course.
What
yeah.
makes you believe? Why do you think it's so hard? And I want to get back to the dance thing because it's tying into the magic thing.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so difficult for a lot of people in this reality to grasp on that magic may be real in this dimension?
You know, that is a good question. I feel like a lot of you have to be spiritually connected to tap into your magic. You know, I don't think that there's a shortcut or a way around it, a way straight to it. You know, you have to really connect with yourself deeply. You know, so when it comes to dance, you know, I feel very connected to my higher self, my spiritual self, because my gift comes from God, you know. So when I'm dancing, I feel like I'm dancing for him, you know. I have to dance. I have to keep dancing because I can't waste, you know, my assignment, you know, on not doing what I feel like my purpose on this place, in this realm, on this earth is to do. So, you know, dance has brought me to so many different places, so many magical places, you know, places I never imagined. And it continues to do that, you know. I can never hit another stage dancing, and I am grateful. I'm full of what I have experienced. It's very beautiful. You know, I've had some really great experiences with dance. I've had some funky experiences as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some potions don't come out right.
In acting either, in
Yeah.
any aspect of like when you're trying to pursue what you love.
Yeah.
If there was one thing, because you know the Atlanta dance scene is really big here.
Yeah.
And I've experienced, like, even with being an artist, like there's definitely like two earths existing in the dance scene. There's the dance artist that does it for the love and the passion and the creativity, and there is the business dancer,
Right.
which and I think there's a combination of both, and I think that exists in all art. Is like, have you ever experienced when the art got away and it just became work?
Absolutely. That was day one. You know, I mean, I trained in dance. I've been training professionally since I was 14. But I didn't book my first dance job gig until 2016, which was 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And that experience was so eye-opening for me. You know, it was a little funky. I definitely got my fair share of the business side of it. I definitely was taken advantage of a lot, you know, especially those first couple of years of my dance career. Yeah, between agents and especially in Atlanta and different, you know, choreographers, you know, you have to go through those bad experiences to know, because there's no blueprint for commercial dance. You know, classical dance there is, but you know, with the hip hop dancers or the commercial gigs, you got to kind of just get out there and learn as you go, and you're gonna learn as you go, because nobody's going to actually teach you, because the more they teach you, the less they can use and abuse you. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it's definitely a tier of working choreographers or directors that know exactly what's happening down here, and they choose to leave it at that state on purpose because that leaves them where they are.
So it's kind of like there is a group of, if you think about politics, right?
Right.
It's like if you give too many people power, then you lose your power.
Right.
Do you think that in a sense, and I feel that way in a sense where it's like, and I try to put myself in that person's shoes. Like
Right.
if I'm an agent or if I'm a dancer that's really popping or a casting director that's really popping. If I have all this stuff like this power and everything, and I'm not me, I'm in another avatar body. I'm part of the simulation.
Right.
Then why, with my mindset, would I want to give my power away to these people?
Right.
Even though I do believe that those people that only take, we may not see it now. And I was reading a book, but they eventually get what's coming to them.
Right.
Because the ego can only last so long at the top. And I used to be like one of those people that was like, dang, why is that shit not happening for me? Why is this not happening for me? Or like, what the fuck? Why can't I get there and everything? But I don't know collectively what's going on in that person's mind.
Right.
What demons are in there, what toxicity is going on, what pain is going on.
For sure.
What I've experienced is like when a person finally starts making money in that business and when they start thriving in that business, then they lose a sense of why they did it. And like if you think of like someone like what happened to Will Smith or what's happened to like Johnny Depp, or when you think about celebrities that get to this high stature where they're almost worshipped like gods.
Right.
That's when it's kind of like you get knocked off the pedestal, but then you come back.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing Grand Theft Auto or something, it's like, oh yeah, it's part of the, like when you think of the Lion King and they're like, everything exists in the world of balance.
In the circle of life.
It's the circle of life. So it's like, I've been playing with this notion that there's no idea of good and evil. Like everything that you went through, right?
Right.
And the people that took advantage of you made you into this beautiful entity, into this beautiful character that's sitting before you, before me. And the reason why all of those people were in your life, even the good and the bad ones, was to create what is existing right now.
Absolutely.
So you had to go through all of that.
And I don't regret a day of it. You know, I learned a lot of things the hard way, but I've kind of always been that way, you know, my entire life. I've always kind of needed to burn my hand on the stove to know that don't touch the stove because it's hot, you know.
Yeah.
It's the Leo in me. I'm very, you know, adventurous in that realm. But yeah, definitely, you know, learned a lot. But I feel like I said, you know, you just have to be tapped in with your source, you know, where your energy comes from that you give to other people, you know, and you have to just trust that in giving that good energy to someone that it's going to return back to you in a reward. It's going to keep reciprocating, you know. It might not come back from that specific person that you gave it to, but it's on its way, you know. You just got to keep putting more good and more good out there, you know. It's very tough to not become, you know, bitter from situations like that, especially when it's affecting your finances and your health and, you know, your state of mind, period. You know, it can be very distracting and discouraging, but rewarding still, you know, in the same sense. If you just keep the initial goal in mind, and like I said, you know, you got to stay tapped in with your source, you know.
What is your source? Because everybody's source, I think, is different. Like, and I guess that's my reality, right? Because we all have different mindsets. What do you think your source is?
My source is God. My source
and what is God
love,
to you?
Love, kindness, peace, you know, all things good. You know, my ears have opened so much just really over the last year, you know, and it keeps opening, and I can hear God so much more clear the more I focus on him and keep that in me, you know, and just keep moving forward. I like to spread the word of God. I like to spread love. I like to lead with love with anybody that I come in contact with, you know. I can't exhaust it, but at the same time, give it away because I know that I'm going to get it back. I have a solid circle of great people in my life.
So you are extremely humble, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
But I feel like they don't know the extent of how professional of a dancer and how much of a career you've had thus far, because you've already had such an amazing career. You're going to have more of an amazing career. So tell them some of your credentials so they can grasp like this. He's not just dancing, which there's nothing wrong with dancing on the street. I do it every day of my life.
Yeah.
But this man has made money off of dancing. So tell him some of your credentials.
Okay, so let's see. Let's start from the beginning. Professionally started dancing. I was 14. Well, I started training at 14, and in my beginning stages, we were dancing and we were creating. I was a part of this club in my high school. It's called Orchesis, and that's where I met my first mentor. Her name was Vegeta. And she just taught me everything about dance.
Hey, Vegeta.
Hey, girl, what's up? Okay, Vegeta now, get into it. So I did that for a couple years. I was just training. I danced with a few companies in Chicago. Really all the companies, the dance companies in Chicago. From Coda was my first one. I danced with Puzzle League for a little bit. Boom Crack. I did a few shows with them. Shout out to Matt and Davina and Trey Turner, all the Chicago heads that got me started. Vegeta, Daz, Dre. Shout out to those guys. Anyway, so then fast forward to 2016, I moved to Atlanta, and I booked my first major dance job. It was a TV show for Star, choreographed by Sean Bankhead. And that was an amazing experience. I met, so many people. And that was my first time really being in a space where I'm like, celebrities walking past me like, oh my God, it's Queen Latifah, or, so-and-so, Benjamin and Lee Daniel. We literally sat in his office and watched, this is before Star even premiered, because the episode we did was one of the first couple of episodes, So, yep, we did that. And from there, I did Star, I did Empire, I did Step Up, and then I started working with more artists. I did the Trumpet Awards with Rosario McCoy. We danced with Ashanti, Keisha Cole, Da Brat, Seven Streeter, Justine Skye. We did what came after that? I did TV show with Aquaman and Amy Allen, The Watchmen. We did
God, I love The Watchmen.
Yep, we did the BMF premiere with 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg, Flo Rida, Jeremiah. Yeah.
So I want to talk about fear, right?
Yeah.
Because in the process of doing all that, right?
Right.
Did it ever creep in, or like, did you ever get this sense of like, what am I doing here, or anything? And how did you overcome your fear of just saying, yes, I'm going to go to this audition. I'm actually going to move to Atlanta. I'm actually going to work with Sean Bankhead. I'm in a fucking office with Lee Daniels.
Yeah.
Oh, Queen Latifah. I know Queen Latifah. So where did you just get the courage to just go? Because with Black people sometimes, and especially the way we get stuck, how did you not get stuck and was able to flow into the things that you wanted to do?
God is the answer. Growing up in my beginning stages, even when I did start training professionally when I was 14, I didn't have a lot of support. And a lot of times when I would call myself leaning on someone for support, or just saying, oh, today was hard, or oh man, I don't know about this, or I don't know about dancing, I would get a lot, well, then maybe you should try this, or maybe you should do this, something completely taking me further away from dancing. It's like, wait, I didn't want to not dance, I just wanted to figure out how to get through this. So I learned at an early age how to just take a breath and talk to God about it and push myself forward and keep pushing forward. And yeah, so I came out here by myself in 2016. I knew what I wanted to do. I had done all that I felt like I could do in Chicago. So, I knew that when I came out here that it was time to really dig into the industry, so any opportunity that I could get, I took advantage of it. I was trying to connect with everybody, and I didn't realize as easy as it is to come across somebody, to stay in contact with them is the challenge. Getting a job is not very hard. It's keeping a job and staying on a job and getting another job with that same choreographer. That's the middle ground, the game that you have to play, especially as a dancer, so, yeah, it's definitely scary, but if your dreams aren't scary, maybe they aren't big enough, so, they have to, kind of shake you up in a sense to, keep you, on your toes. You don't want to slack off or be like, oh, I don't need this day, or I don't need to stretch, or I don't need to go take this class. Like, no, you got to keep pushing. You got to go get in that person's face. You got to get in this person's face. You got to, talk to this agent, or, become friends with this director or this casting guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a middle ground, a game that has to be played. It's exhausting. It's very exhausting, but I'm learning that a lot of those higher heads have a lot of bitterness. It's a lot of bitter people that are actually hiring people. So, I don't know. It's strange.
That's what I feel like, and I'm gonna pin a question in the podcast and online is, you get to this standpoint where you're making money,
right?
Where you're doing what you love to do. You've gotten everything. You've kind of manifested this world that you thought that you wanted.
Right.
And then it feels like there's still this pain of trauma that a lot of people, especially these Hollywood heads and music execs, are going through, where they're bitter and upset. And so how do you think that we fix that?
Well, it's honestly, it's in a lot of industries. It's not just the dancers, it's, entertainment as a whole, but, in any industry, there are going to be those challenges. And I look at it as, like your families, we have to break those generational curses because we are in a different time now. We're not in the 70s and 80s and 90s where dance is kind of just kicking off as a commercial job. I feel like the dancers initially were making a lot more money, and then somebody got in charge and it was like, oh, they don't need that much. They don't need $1,000 to do this one video. They can do it for $100. Somebody's going to do it for $100. And then you have those dancers that are hungry and starving, literally, and they will do anything for $100, $50, and the higher people, they know that.
Do you think that dancers are underpaid and underappreciated in the industry?
Dancers are literally at the bottom of the pyramid. I know one choreographer that I met, he was, telling me a little bit of game in the, industry in LA. And he was like, yeah, we call dancers the bottom feeders.
Bottom feeders.
The bottom feeders.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's weird because without the dancers, it's like a painting. Yeah. Everything comes to life. And that's the problem with, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, a lot of dancers, especially younger dancers, are ignorant to the business side of things. Mm-hmm. So, you dance because you love it, because you're passionate about it and it makes you feel good. So, some people know that and they'll take advantage of that. Like, oh yeah, they just want to, dance, just let them do it, And then you have those dancers who've been doing it for a while. It's like, oh, well, I'm not, I'm not doing that for $100, $200. You're asking for a month of my time. You want me to be in rehearsals for hours and 8 hours, but you only, are paying $50. It's so many crazy scenarios that I have experienced in Atlanta specifically.
Is food included? Are y'all paying for food?
No
Because
food,
food is not no food.
Gas.
What?
And no water.
No water.
You only get no water.
Wait a minute.
You gotta come
H2O?
prepared. You better bring some water, some bananas to your rehearsal. Barely that. It might be hot up in there. You might need another shirt.
So where's the common ground? Because I've actually, when I moved to Atlanta, it used to be like I used to say I don't perform for free.
Right.
And like I was like, nope, I'm not doing that for free and everything. So where's the middle ground as an artist, as a dancer, as an actor, where you say, I'm doing this because I love it, but I know I have to go to my 9 to 5 afterwards, as opposed to I'm doing this because I love it and I actually still need to get paid. Because where's the balance? Where do you think the balance lies? Because if you go too far on the left of it and just do everything for business, then you get rid of the artistic side.
Right.
If you go too far on the right and you only do the artistic side, then you can't eat. So how do you get your sense of balance in doing things?
It's an ongoing process to figure out. The middle ground is very blurry. I believe it's really it comes down to energy, and who you're working with and what the energy is like. And like I said, a lot of times we find ourselves in this position where we're coming up on the end of the month, we got to pay rent, and you might be $300 short, and this person is asking you to do this gig, and you're like, okay, well, do I do it or do I not do it? They're offering me the gig. It pays $200. That'll put me closer to my goal. But, they're also asking me to work for 5 days this week for 8 hours, but they're only offering me $200. So what do? Do you say no and, try to figure out what else you can do in that time? Or do you just take the job and deal with it? But if you take the job, you just got to deal with it. You don't want to take that job and complain or bring your energy down or bring everybody else's energy down, because at the end of the day, you did decide to accept the job. So I think it's just that. I think it's knowing the camps and the energy that you want to surround yourself with, and feeding yourself through there. Because yeah.
And I think that from what I'm hearing, from what you say, from your mindset, I think every dancer would benefit from just doing like a Magic City job. Magic City is this wonderful fairy tale place that strippers are. But I feel like the thing when I think about a stripper is a stripper don't hit a pole unless the money is getting thrown. And they don't take off anything until the cash is getting thrown. So like having that stripper mindset, or like with me, I come from the service industry, and serving is very cutthroat. Like, bitch, are you finna tip me or not?
Yeah.
I think having that sense of that, but also keeping the sense of how humble you are, is why you've been able to keep a career in this industry, because it's kind of like you have to have your yin and your yang working together, your dark and your light working together. Sometimes you bring in, what are your two? You have Charles, and what's your dark side?
My dark side.
Yeah. Do you embrace your dark side? You're tethered.
I like to keep him caged.
Okay.
When I do let him out, I just let him out of my room.
Oh, yeah. What's his name?
His name, Roman.
Okay.
Yeah. And
there's times if someone is taking advantage of you, does Roman talk to you and be like, just let me out? Because mine is Sebastian, and Sebastian will talk to me and be like, bitch, it's time to unleash it. Let me out for just a second and you can put me back in.
Yeah, we have a lot of conversations. I have a really tight grip on him.
Good.
But sometimes when my guard is down, I'm caught off guard. sometimes he just busts that door open and I can't pull him back in. He is a lion. His name's actually not Roman. It's actually Leo. He's the one. And yeah.
Do you think he's doing it in a sense of because when a lot of people think of like the devil or the dark side, right? We think of it like it's being a bad thing. Do you think this person that lives in you is operating from a sense of trying to protect you in your best interest? So, because a lot of people run, when I think of like religions, in certain religions where they run from their darkness and they don't embrace it. So for me specifically, I've hugged that person and I'm like, here, come here, because this is trauma. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I understand what you're going through. How can I service this? What do you need to do? Do you need to scream? Do you think with the sense of movement and dance, is that a way for you to help Leo release sometimes when you're feeling that stress?
Yes. Dance can definitely do that. Since the pandemic, dance has kind of been a little shaky, where, we didn't have the same resources that we felt like we would have forever, like being able to go take dance classes or be in a studio without having to, be socially distant or wear a mask or have to do it over Zoom, So it definitely opened my eyes, especially at the time of, life that I was in, that stage. I was between 25 and 26 when it first kind of kicked off. And, I had to reevaluate a lot of things and I had to tap into myself beyond dance, and figure out what else is within me that brings me joy, besides just dance and music. So cooking has definitely taken a big part of my last 365. I've been starting a lot of business. I've been working with my family. My aunt, she actually owns a restaurant in Chicago. So we're looking to, expand, open up a few locations throughout the country. And
can we come back? Like, can you come back and like teach me how to cook something?
Absolutely.
Like
maybe one day we can have a tutorial, a podcast day. We make some sweet potato pies or something.
Some of your treats.
Yeah.
Your special.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because he makes special treats. You want to plug in your.
Oh yeah. Well, yep. Bakery Leaf ATL. Yeah. Y'all should come fuck with me.
Yes, especially if you're in Atlanta. Treats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, wait, we're at 34 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I want to go back and tap on something that we were just talking about as far as that middle ground. I think it's very important for us as dancers, seasoned dancers, and, more on the beginning side of things, to know your value. And, your value goes beyond just your ability to move. It goes into just your energy and, people actually wanting to be around you. I know some very talented dancers that have really nasty attitudes, and I know some okay dancers that have the best attitudes, and I 10 times out of 10 rather work with them. If the energy is right, if I can work with you. Some people just take too much pride in their value, and some people don't take enough. So I feel like that's where the real the middle ground can be narrowed down to. That it's really about you. It's about what you're willing to accept and what you're not, and it's about not really being desperate to the point where you literally let people take advantage of you, or just walk into it and say, okay, it's like, nope, I don't want that, or no, I don't want you to treat me like that, or no, that's not enough, or why are you paying that person $500 and you only offer me $250? A lot of times, ooh, don't get me started, Josh.
No, get started.
Sometimes they don't even, pay you at all. Like, oh, sometimes you got to wait a couple of weeks.
Well, we're not going to call these motherfuckers out, but, at the end of the day, rant and riff and rave, because I know the thing is like, with having you on here, I know there's a lot of dancers that have experienced and artists that have experienced that, like, where it's like, bitch, you didn't even tag me in the motherfucking Instagram post.
Yep.
And I just sat here and did this free shit. No ramen noodles, bitch.
Yep, nothing. And that's for dancers. That's for choreographers too. There's so many choreographers out there who are choreographing for all of our, favorite artists, and they don't get that credit because that specific artist may have a choreographer that is their, friend or whatever. So their friend is gonna hire like 3 or 4 other choreographers, but they won't necessarily get to put that credit on their resume because it has to go under this person. So that's
it's
another
like some high school bullshit that I don't
pretty
have
much
time for. And it's like what happens is when it comes to like dance or when it comes to acting or when it comes to script writing or anything, if everybody is hiring their friends and they all have a collective mindset, you're not leaving room for growth. It's like you're just going to have a whole bunch of collard greens, but you're not going to have the spinach. You're not going to have the sweet potatoes. You're not going to have all of the other stuff that encompasses a garden. So what happens is if you don't keep adding different people that are different from you and you don't work with different people, you only have collard greens to feed everybody, which collard greens are great. They make you shit. But
and it gets really unfortunate too because I've witnessed that, and I see a lot of choreographers that will hire their friends and have a more difficult time getting the job done than just hiring more professional people. Because when you hire your friends like to slack off, for the most part, take advantage. I've literally sat and watched people argue with, dancers and choreographers arguing in a rehearsal. It's like, well, how can you do that? I mean, they're the choreographer, you got to do whatever they say. But no, like, that's not how I was just like, well, you fucking hired them. So, you asked for the headache, so why not give somebody else a chance?
So I want to bring it back to like when you were talking about the sense of like doing things for yourself and not worrying about what people think. It sounds like you're talking about the idea of your true self.
Yeah.
Not seeking validation. And like right now, yes, and I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and sometimes I'm like, oh, bitch, this got me a whole bunch of likes and everything because it comes from the heart chakra. Like it's something that I've learned. It's like we're human. We like that.
Yeah.
But how do you seek your balance when it comes to the age of social media and validating yourself and not seeking it from other people? Or the fact, like, one thing that I deal with as an actor and have struggled with in my past is like booking. Like it's like, oh, I got a book. And then my true self may be like, bitch, why do you got the book? Because this person's booking? No, you could just sit there and just meditate and find the same joy. So how do you get your sense of validation and your true and tapping into your true self?
Well, to be honest with you, I found so much peace in not giving a fuck. Especially when it comes to social media and the algorithms and having to do this and this TikTok and this challenge and that. And it's like the obligations of that are, it's weird. It's very weird. It's a lot of pressure that honestly I could do without. I like my peace. I like being at home. I don't like to stress about social media, and I don't. I have to post a certain amount just because, that's the industry that I decided to work in. But it's really hard to, stay on top of those things. And I just choose not to because I feel like I'm going to connect with who I need to connect with. And the people who need to connect with me will find a way to be. I post about my classes. I teach 3 classes a week. And, I post when they're happening. My classes grow. So, I don't, I try not to, I'll tap in as much as I can. But at the end of the day, it's only 24 hours in a day. And I cannot consume them with the internet and how I can, bring people to me, bring more people in, No, you got to post and go. So I wake up in the morning, I do my little yada yada, share this, like that, support my friends that I do support, wholeheartedly. And then I got to go on about my day. I had to take care of my dog. I had to feed myself. I had to clean myself, get myself ready to do what I have to do, because, I teach kids, and you got to be careful, because you're not just giving them choreography, you're giving them their first experiences with dance, so it's going to make or break what they do. So I have to be, full in myself and clear-minded to do that. And I cannot do that and be consumed with the internet. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's literally a matrix. And if you don't wake up out of that matrix, you will get lost in it. You will die in it.
Yeah. I want to let you plug yourself before we leave. Is there anything that you want to plug? Where can they follow you at in this matrix set?
In the matrix, you can follow me at Charles Guyton _, and that matrix would be Instagram. Just connect with me on Instagram. That's the best place to find me. I'm not very active on Twitter or Facebook beyond, my personal things like my family. I like to stay connected with my family on Facebook and more connected. My family is so, like, the Guytons. I find a new Guyton every day.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's how I feel about the Gilliards. It's like a big tree.
Yes, the tree.
I need to do my family tree. I didn't understand how important it was, but it helps heal like generational trauma.
And we're really definitely the generation to break those bad habits. We get to shape the next generation of our families, of the Guytons and of the Gilliards. You know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful. But you can find me on Instagram. Hit me up. I teach at I Inspire on Thursday nights here in Atlanta,
Georgia.
That's in Atlanta. That's at 9 p.m. So you guys come on through. It's a different vibe every week.
What type of dance is it?
Well, it's more I try to be open.
It's advanced, intermediate. You gonna sweat.
It's definitely a challenge.
I've been in his dance class. Don't be coming in there thinking that you finna do I'm finna do a jazz square turn. No, listen. I was like, whoo, I gotta sit down. Okay, he's like, let's do it again, and his energy is totally different. He's really chill right now. He's like, okay, let's go, let's do it again. I'm like, wait, what again?
No, but you nailed it. You did so good.
I'm gonna come back because I literally psyched myself out because I was like, I feel like I am going to die in this class. But it was good for me.
Very high energy that day. That
really
day,
good.
What did we do? We did poison.
Yeah, we did poison. That's
a lot of energy.
It's driving me. Yes, it was so good. Okay, so I'm gonna leave with this. And make sure you guys are following everything that's Queen of the Ratchet. Everything. This is my question that I want to ask you. Yes. If you could leave this world, and Lewis, this guy that I follow on the podcast, he does it too. Everything that you've done in this world is gone.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who Charles Guyton is. They don't know about the dancing. They don't know about anything. You are now entering another avatar. This person has died, right? Which I don't really believe in death. I believe that we go into another. I actually don't believe in sleep either. I believe that when you sleep, you're actually going into... Yeah, you're traveling. Yeah. So if there's something that you could take with the next lifetime or the next avatar body that you live in, what would you tell that energy, that entity, that shape that you become?
I would tell them to listen to God. Listen to that angel, that God voice. And if you really listen, you can hear the difference, because the devil will come to you in disguise as God. Disguised as God, so you just have to I would tell them to just listen and listen to God. I can't say that enough. When people talk to you, you can hear the difference. You can hear when God is coming out of someone's mouth and when the devil is coming out. And don't be a fool. When you hear the devil, it's the devil. God don't play as the devil. So, don't sell yourself short for, the flesh or for, earthly or worldly desires. Lead with love. And love will come back.
And we'll end on love.
We'll end on love.
Oh, shanana. Thank you guys so much for listening. Charles will be back.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Bye, guys.
Hasta.